Good morning, traders. CRUS here with Traders Profit Compass with your morning look at markets for Thursday, May 6th. Okay, taking a quick look at futures. Oil down 0.6, copper up 0.6, gold up 0.5%, and silver up 1.25%. We're pretty much flat across the board on equity futures. Ticking green, but nothing much to speak of here. Okay, let's get into it. SPY 2-hour. Yesterday, we popped up on the open, made a little run to try and close this gap from the other day, but then fell below this 416.75, which I thought was important from the standpoint of bulls not being able to maintain that opening pop. You can see here they popped it up, came back down to close the opening gap, then bounced it again, only getting up to about 417 and a half. I had 418.20 as a total gap fill, and then they faded that the rest of the day, bringing it back down to basically even. So today, the way I see SPY is at 416. I think you've got a pivot point where price could see the bottom of the gap again at 416.75. You may see a reaction there. If it were to break above, I think you could buy it there and see if the gap can totally fill up to 418.20. Otherwise, if it stays pinned below, I think we could come back and see this 414 pretty easily. And I think that is a big level there, that 414. Because if we break below that, then I think we're coming back down to test this prior low from the other day. And remember, we've got support here and support here. And then the last stop is 410.50. Anything below that opens up a whole new range of downside. So I think those are the key levels today for SPY. 414 on the downside, and then 411.50, and then longer term 410.50. That would break the big trading range and open up more downside. Got a chart of the QQQ daily here just to show you where we're at. We had come up here and stalled out at 342 and now have come back, and you can see that we're sitting on the 50 EMA right here. So that's an important level where we closed yesterday. And if we were to break below and fill that gap, let's show it on the 2-hour. We've got this gap down here at 327 to 324.57. We break below this 2-hour 200, which is the same thing as the 50 EMA on the daily. Then we come back down here, test this gap. I think we would probably fill it and then head down towards 324.50, 324, which is a big level from before that we've talked about. Now, on the upside, if this level holds right here, we could see some renewed enthusiasm come back up here to test this gap that we have above from 334 to 336. Here's the exploded scale. You can see that we had the fibs laid out yesterday, came up here, stalled at the 618 retracement level at 333, and then they faded it the rest of the day. Pretty, weak close down here. So I think price is vulnerable down to this 326.50. And I would use this morning, if you're an active trader, I would use 330 as your pivot. If you can, if they can pop price at 330, I think you can get a run up to 332, 333. But other than that, I'd be more inclined to lean to the short side, see if they have a little opening pop up here to 330 that stalls, and then I think we come back down to revalidate this low from the other day at 327, and then we'll really find out what's going on with the Qs, if that were to hold or if that breaks. IWM didn't really do a whole lot. You can see that I've dropped in a new trend line here on the 2-hour off of the recent highs, and so far price has been respecting that. So I think the key to more downside definitely is this 200 EMA right here. You can see all of the what have we tagged it 5 times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've tagged it 5 times now, and it's held every time. So I think you can stay short below 223, but anything above 223 that breaks this downtrend line, I think you'd have a good chance at a long to go up here to 225, to possibly even fill this gap up to 226 on the upside. But if it remains pinned below your downtrend line and breaks the 200 here at 221.50, then I think we come down towards well, first stop here 220.50 right here where we've got support. But below that, then you're down into the 219s and possibly even the 218s. See it here on the 30-minute chart. Got the same downtrend line, and you can see here at 221.50 all the times it has hit support there. So I think 223 is a solid pivot where you can maintain and lean on your shorts for a down move. Otherwise, on a breakout here above 223, I think you get long, see if it can take out 224, make a run to 225 and possibly 226. Okay, Facebook. I think we had this laid out perfectly yesterday. We made the run right up to this 321.61, which was the bottom of the original bracket and the top of the gap, and it got rejected there and made its way back down to near the prior lows here at 313. So I mean, that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but from 321 to 315, I mean, that's $6. I mean, that's a decent trade depending on where you caught it. But right now, 313 is your pivot. Anything above 313, I think you can either try or stay long. But below 313, we come down towards 310 and possibly fill the whole gap down to 307.50. Apple, we had the levels perfectly identified. This 130.25 level right here contained 3 hours worth of trading, and then they faded it the rest of the day. So for today, 128.50 is a clear pivot point. If it can break above, we can go back up to 130. But if we stay below, then we come back down, test this 127, which was a big level, and that's got to hold for the bulls to have a chance. Otherwise, down towards 125 and potentially 123 in the days and weeks ahead, whatever. This 127 is a big level. Tesla came up to this 687.50 level. They faded it the rest of the day, right back down to the 670 pivot. Above 670, you can try a long. Below 670 favors more downside. I think if we broke 670, I think we'd come back down to the bottom of this well-defined channel here at 650 and then see if there's any kind of reaction there. But I think you've got $20 of downside on a break below 670 on Tesla. Microsoft, again, we had this one really well charted. We kicked back up. We said this 49.25 area was resistance. Came back up, perfect tag, and then they faded it the rest of the day. So now 247 is your pivot. Above, I think you're okay. Keeping in mind this downtrend line. If you're more of a longer term swing trader, I think you got to wait till price breaks above 249.25, breaking the downtrend channel and regaining this prior range. Then you can shoot for 254 on the upside. But other than that, I think it favors lower right now. The thing I want to point out is this 245 is a big, big level. Let's look at it on the daily chart. And here we are. We had that breakout here from 245, and that gave us the big push up to 260. But now we've come all the way back. We're sitting on the 50. We've got this big level here at 245. Now, just take it on the face of it, very common technical move. Breakout, back test, and go. But tech has been weak. So that makes this 245 even more important. Now, if you're a tech bull, you can wait for this tag at 245 or play against the 50 and say, hey, it should bounce here. And it should. If everything is fine in tech land, this should bounce. Breakout, back test, go. That's what's supposed to happen. But if it doesn't, if Microsoft breaks this 245, then we're back in the prior trading range, and I think you come all the way back to 230 on that break. So I think swing traders need to pay attention right here on Microsoft and watch that 245 like a hawk, because a break below would be a really nice swing short setup where you could get short against 245, set your stop, say at the 50, right here at a little over 246, and then play for a move down to 230. So at a big inflection point on Microsoft. Amazon, weak. Free 50 Club delivered again. We had the break above 330. We got a run to 33.50. Got rejected. Came all the way back down and actually made a new low. This 32.72 was the low from the other day. And now we broke that yesterday, closing at 32.70. So right now, I actually should have moved this. I think 32.50 is your pivot. You know, right here in the middle, I mean, I wouldn't really do anything. I would wait for either a move down to 32.50 to make a decision, or wait till 3,300 is recaptured for your long. You know, right here in the middle, I don't think there's anything particular to do. I like to wait for these well-defined levels to react. So I think you can be long above 3,300. I think you can be short below 32.50, or if it comes down to 32.50, finds support there and bounces, I think you can take along there. I mean, if you've been trading Amazon for any length of time, you know how well these $50 increments have worked. Continue to use those. I think it'll keep working until it doesn't, but it's been working for a long time. So continue to use those as your pivot points. Google, pretty much a flat day, 0.4%. But I've got this nice downtrend line on the hourly, and I think you can use that as your pivot today. If we break above like 23, 22-ish, I think you can get a run up to 23.50. But if we stay below, I think we come back down to 2,300, and then that's a big level. If it drops down below, we test this prior low down here at 22.60. Netflix, big level, guys. Right here at 495, we're at the top. This 515 came all the way back, and now we're at 495 again. I think with a convincing break below, we come down to 470. So that's a trade to pay attention to. Just remember, don't front run it. Wait till it breaks, because support is support until and unless broken. So if tech gathers itself, we could see a run back to 1550 without any kind of problem. So key off that 495 though. I mean, I think that would be a significant technical event if that were to break. And like I said, back down to the bottom of the box. That would be my base case there. Before we get into the next section, I want to thank all the new viewers and recent subscribers. I'm thankful you're here along with me. I hope you find the levels helpful in your trading. The whole idea is to give you very objective trading levels, and if you focus on your execution around those levels, adhere to your process, I think you'll find a lot of success. So if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, hit the alarm bell, then jump over to the show notes where you can get a link to register for all my content. You'll also get an invite to the trading room. We'd love to have you there. Longtime listeners and subscribers, I really appreciate you being here. I hope you're finding success in your trading. Please hit the like button and leave me a positive comment so others will let you know that you see value in the work. I really appreciate that. So, moving on, I wanted to show you this ratio chart that I've been watching on momentum versus value. And we had the big run here in value. So when the chart is falling, that means the value factor is gaining on the momentum factor. So we had the steep plunge, and then we had a kickback rally. This is when, big cap tech and some of the other momentum names, bubble stocks, if you will, had a kickback rally, and now that rally is fading. We see it in big cap tech. You see it in software. You see it in ARK. Kathy Wood's funds are starting to roll over again. And so now value is again beginning to reassert itself and drive the chart lower. So I would expect this to continue as we move forward into the summer months. And I wanted to show you this IJS, small cap value ETF. We've been in this little consolidation range, and during this time, this is when, the prior chart was rising. So small cap value wasn't doing anything. And this is when the momentum trade was having its kickback rally. But now we can see price has recaptured the 8 and 20-day moving averages. I've got a breakout level at 107.50. So it's my expectation. Also, I want to point out that we've got a bull cross firing on momentum, on the PPO momentum indicator. And notice that the RSI really never lost 50. So this remains in the bullish regime. Momentum remains in the bullish regime. I expect this to drive higher. Whether you want to, trade this basket on its own, I mean, that's fine. Or look to individual value and cyclical names where you can get involved on an individual basis. That's more than fine as well. But this is a good one to watch along with that ratio chart, just to let you know how the momentum factor and the value factor are that interplay with one another. Usually it's going to be one or the other. I mean, they both don't usually do well together. It's either one or the other, and you can see that in the ratio chart when it moves up or down. Okay, got a new setup for you here. Goodyear Tire, 2-month consolidation starting to emerge here above 19. We've got a bull cross happening on PPO, and you can notice on the RSI, never losing 50, heading back up again. We've got $2.50 wide trading range. So this points to like $21.50, $22 as an upside target on a measured move basis on this breakout. So I think you can get long against 19 with a stop just below. And don't forget, on any and all of my trade setups, please double verify when earnings are. I typically don't scrub every single setup that I find for earnings. So depending on how you trade in your particular style and your process, you may be someone that wants to hold through earnings, or you may be someone that wants to avoid earnings. So always take a look at that on any setup that I offer. Metals and mining continues to drive higher after this breakout. We pointed this out the other day. Stay long if you're long. Steel and all the commodities are driving higher. I think this goes higher as well. Semiconductors had a little bounce back, but they faded it. So we have filled the gap above. Now I think for today and going forward, 238 is your pivot. I think semis are weak. I expect this to come back down at least to 235.50, if not even test this prior low down at 233. But to really, we can't negate the potential for a kickback all the way up to 242.50. That's where the real pivot lies for swing traders, to recapture this main level at 242.50. Hey, if price does that, take it long, because then you've got to run to 247 and potentially even fill this gap to 250. I'm not actively trading this, but if you are, the setup now favors bearish as long as we're below 242.50 on a short-term basis. Below 238 brings in more sellers, but if you're looking for a long, I would wait at least at this juncture for 242.50 to be taken out, or this prior low down at 233 to hold, possibly give a double bottom look, and then try a long, but not right here. Skyworks. A lot of us have been in this since the breakdown of this original bracket trade here. Got a good move down, got a good follow-up, and now we've had a kickback rally to this large volume over price resistance level and has backed away. I would stay short against 175.50 and look for a move back down to 170. CRUS has gone the other way. We had said alarm 75 and 71 for the bracket trade. We got a breakout yesterday, made a run up to 78, and then they faded it. I think your pivot point for today is 75. If it holds that, still an opportunity for a gap fill. But if it breaks below, then your target becomes 71 because you had a fake breakout and a move back into the range, which means the target, all these people will realize that they were wrong. They will have to sell. And then that's when you get more horsepower to the downside. And just from technical analysis, we know that once you break out of a range, you do not want to come back in the range. So if you're not in it, I would still alarm 75 because if it breaks below, I think that's a solid short down to 71. Peloton was the big winner. We got short on this break of this well-defined level at 98. We never broke above. Our stops were never taken out. We noticed that price was below all the moving averages, below key support. And then yesterday the news broke that they're recalling all their bikes for safety reasons. And you got the 15-point rug pull. Now, Peloton reports earnings tonight. You can watch. Maybe there's some further weakness today. You can see 80 is a key level. You can also see that with this big head and shoulder structure, it predicts 41% downside, which brings it all the way down to 60. If you're in the trade, here's what I would do. I would stick in it today, see if it dribbles lower down to 80, then I would take the win ahead of earnings. Who knows what they might say? They might, they're going to downplay it. They're going to say, whatever they're going to say. But I wouldn't expect another 15% tomorrow. Let's put it that way. What I would expect was, a period of consolidation at this big level. Then if 79 or 80 breaks, then you reinitiate the short and then you look for 60 on the downside. And, the structure is off to a good start. That's what this structure predicts. We didn't expect to get it all in one day. But down here at key support at 80 and earnings tonight, no, take the win. See what happens on earnings and then reinitiate a short if it breaks. And hey, if you're bullish, if it holds, you can try a long. Pinterest sitting on the 200, waiting for a break of that. I think if it breaks the 200, then there's a lot of room below with a mostly an air pocket down here. Twitter not doing anything, but yet not doing anything positive either. And yesterday down 1.5% and below the 200. So I think if you're short, stay short against 55. And as long as that As long as price can't get above 55, then you have a downside opportunity down here to this large volume over price bar at 46. So that's it for today. I hope the levels are helping you out. I hope you were in some of those nice trades that we pointed out. It always helps to be lucky every once in a while. And on the Pinterest or the Peloton one, that luck is certainly appreciated and very welcome. But you got to be in it to win it. And we took the short when we saw the signal, and that's how it works sometimes. Sometimes you get stopped out. Sometimes you get lucky with a news item. So anyways, have a good day of trading today, and I'll talk to you next time.